I was sitting in my boss's office, staring at explicit photos of someone who looked exactly like me, photos I'd never taken. I had 24 hours to explain them, or I'd lose everything. Then my brother texted me, "Heard you had a rough day at work, LOL. Welcome to Reddit reading. Please comment and let me know which city you're from and what time it is where you are." And now, I'm going to tell you a true story that I experienced. I was sitting in the conference room when I realized my entire life could end in the next 10 minutes. Jennifer, my boss, sat across from me with her hands folded on the table, and Diane from HR was beside her with a manila folder that seemed way too thick for anything good. The blinds were closed, the door was shut, nobody was smiling. Jennifer opened her laptop without looking at me. "Maya, we received some concerning materials this morning. I need you to look at these and explain them to me." She turned the screen toward me, and everything inside me just stopped. There were photos, 4 of them, photos that looked like me but couldn't possibly be me because I'd never taken pictures like that in my entire life. Explicit images showing someone with my face in compromising situations I'd never been in, with people I'd never met. "These were sent to my work email at 6:43 this morning," Jennifer said. The subject line said, "Thought you should know about your senior coordinator." "Are these real?" My mouth had gone completely dry. "They're not me. I've never taken photos like that. Someone faked these." Diane leaned forward with a gentler tone. "Maya, if you're being blackmailed, we can help, but we need honesty. I'm telling you the truth. Someone edited these. You can verify they've been manipulated, please." Jennifer closed her laptop. "We're going to investigate. But until then, you're on immediate administrative leave. You need to collect your personal items and leave within the hour." The room tilted. "Jennifer, I've worked here for 6 years. I just closed the Hendricks account. You can't actually think." "Someone sent explicit images to me, 3 board members, and HR," she interrupted. "Whether they're real or fake, this is serious. You have 24 hours to provide evidence or explanation. If you can't, we'll proceed with termination." 24 hours. Everything I'd built was hanging by a thread. I barely remember packing my desk. My phone buzzed when I reached my car. "Derek, heard you had a rough day at work, LOL. Karma's a bitch." I stared at that message. Derek, my brother. How did he know? The meeting happened less than 2 hours ago. I hadn't told anyone. I drove straight to my parents' house. Mom was in the kitchen doing dishes. She smiled when I walked in. "Maya, honey, what a nice surprise." "Mom, someone sent fake photos to my boss. Explicit photos that look like me but aren't. I got put on leave. They're talking about firing me." She dried her hands and sat down. "Oh, sweetheart, that's awful. What kind of photos?" "Sexual ones. They're edited, but they look real enough that HR is investigating. Someone is trying to destroy my career." Mom pulled out a chair. "Are you sure you didn't post something online that got misinterpreted? Derek mentioned a few weeks ago that he saw some questionable photos on your Instagram. Maybe you need to be more careful about your online presence." My entire body went cold. "Derek said what?" "He was just concerned. He said some of your photos looked unprofessional. Are you sure you haven't been careless with what you share?" Footsteps on the stairs. Derek appeared wearing sweatpants and a gaming headset. He grabbed a soda and smirked when he saw me. Well, if it isn't my big sister, the career woman, shouldn't you be at work?" I stood up fast. "You know exactly why I'm not at work. You sent those photos?" His eyebrows went up in fake surprise. "Photos? What photos?" "Derek, did you send something to Maya's boss?" Mom asked. "Oh, those," he said, and he actually laughed. "Come on, Maya, it was just a prank. You're always so uptight. I thought it'd be funny to mess with you. Anyone with half a brain can tell they're photoshopped. If your boss is dumb enough to believe them, that's not my problem." "A prank?" I couldn't breathe. "I'm on administrative leave. They're talking about firing me. Do you understand what you've done?" "Stop being so dramatic," he said, rolling his eyes. "It was a joke. You'll get your precious job back. You always land on your feet anyway." Mom put her hand on my arm. "Maya, honey, calm down. Your brother made a mistake, but you're blowing this out of proportion. He's trying to destroy my career." You're being hysterical, Mom said with that edge in her voice. Derek was just joking around. Brothers and sisters mess with each other. You can't be so sensitive about everything. He committed a crime. He sent fabricated explicit images to my workplace. That's harassment. That's defamation. Now you're threatening legal action against your own brother? Mom's face went red. Over a joke? Family sticks together. We don't call lawyers on each other. Derek, tell your sister you're sorry. Derek looked at me and smiled. Sorry you can't take a joke, sis. Mom nodded. There. See? He apologized. Now can we drop this? I looked at my mother, at my brother, and I realized they weren't going to help me. In Mom's eyes, keeping the peace meant protecting Derek no matter what, and my pain meant nothing. I need to go, I said quietly. I was in my car when Mom started calling, 3 times. Then a text came through. Mom, you're being incredibly selfish and childish. Call me when you're ready to apologize to your brother. I pulled over and let myself cry for exactly 5 minutes. Then I wiped my face and opened my phone. 23 hours left. No help from family. But I knew one thing for certain. Derek had done this on purpose, and Mom was going to protect him no matter what it cost me. I scrolled to Rachel Kim. We'd worked together before she started her own digital forensics consulting firm. She'd told me if I ever needed tech help, I should call. She answered on the 3rd ring. Maya Chen, what's up? Rachel, I need help. Someone created fake explicit photos of me and sent them to my boss. I have less than 24 hours to prove they're fake or I lose my job. Can you help me? Pause. Send me everything. I'll meet you at my office in an hour. Thank you. Don't thank me yet. Whoever did this left a trail. They always do. We're going to find it. I hung up and stared at Derek's text. He'd made a mistake sending that from his own phone, admitting he knew before I'd told anyone. That was evidence. I screenshot the message and saved it 3 times. Then I started driving toward Rachel's office, and for the first time since that horrible meeting, I felt something other than fear. I felt angry, and anger was a whole lot more useful than heartbreak. Rachel's office was in a sleek building downtown with glass walls and modern furniture. She met me in the lobby, wearing jeans and a blazer, her hair pulled back in a practical ponytail. Let's go to the conference room. I cleared my afternoon. I sent her everything from my phone. The photos Jennifer had shown me, Derek's text message, Mom's messages, the email details HR had forwarded. Rachel plugged her laptop into a massive monitor and opened programs I didn't recognize. Okay, first things first, she said, zooming in on one of the photos. These are definitely manipulated. See this lighting inconsistency on the neck, and the skin texture changes at the jawline. Whoever made these used your social media photos and mapped them onto stock images. It's decent work, but not professional. They made mistakes. Relief flooded through me. Can you prove that to my company? I can do better. I can trace where these were created. She pulled up another screen showing lines of code. Every digital image has metadata, information about when it was created, what software was used, sometimes what device. Let me dig into the email header. She worked in silence for maybe 20 minutes. Finally, she leaned back and pointed at the screen. Got it. The email was sent from an IP address that traces to a residential location in Riverside. Does your family live there? My stomach dropped. Yes, that's my mom's house. And the timestamp shows it was sent at 6:43 a.m. from a laptop. The photos were edited using basic software, probably something free. Whoever did this isn't a professional, Maya. They're an amateur who thought they were being clever. I showed her Derek's text message. He sent this 2 hours after the meeting. I hadn't told anyone. How would he know unless he sent the photos? Rachel screenshot the text. That's circumstantial but useful. Do you know if your brother has access to your social media accounts or passwords? No, but he's had access to my apartment. I gave him a spare key last year when I went on vacation. He never gave it back, so he could have gotten into your laptop or personal files. Rachel made a note. Maya, I need to ask something. Have there been other incidents? Other times when things went wrong in ways that didn't make sense? I started to say no, then stopped. 6 months ago, a client complained about unprofessional emails from my account. IT never found anything. A year ago, my car was vandalized the night before a major presentation. Someone keyed it and slashed 2 tires. And 2 years ago, my apartment was broken into, but only my laptop was taken. They left my TV, jewelry, everything else. My hands started shaking. Oh my God, this isn't the first time. Derek's been sabotaging me for years. Rachel nodded. That's a pattern. We can use that. Do you have documentation, police reports, emails, anything? I have the police report from the break-in and emails about the car. I might have the IT ticket from when my email was compromised. Good. Send me all of that. We're building a case that shows systematic harassment, not a one-time prank. She started outlining everything. Here's what we've got. Proof the photos are fake, proof they came from your mother's house, proof your brother had foreknowledge, and a pattern of suspicious incidents. What we need now is motive. Why would your brother do this? I thought about Derek's smirk. He's jealous. He's always been jealous. I went to college, got a good job, moved out. He's 24 and still lives at home with no career. Mom makes excuses for him constantly, but he blames me for making him look bad. Has he ever said anything directly? Made comments about your job? I scrolled through my text. Messages. Look, 3 months ago, I told the family group chat I got a promotion. Derek's response was, "Must be nice to have everything handed to you." And when I posted about closing a major account, he commented, "Some people get all the luck." Rachel screenshot those. Perfect. This establishes resentment and jealousy. Combined with opportunity and digital evidence, we've got a solid picture. She glanced at her watch. You've got about 20 hours left. I can have a full forensic report ready for HR by tomorrow morning. But Maya, this evidence is good enough to clear your name at work and take to the police. My heart started pounding. The police? What your brother did is illegal. Computer fraud, identity theft, defamation. You could file criminal charges. You should. Rachel's voice was gentle but firm. I know he's family, but he committed crimes with the intent to destroy your livelihood. That's not a prank. I thought about Mom's text, telling me to apologize. About Derek's smirk. Let me clear my name at work first, then I'll decide. Fair enough. Rachel closed her laptop. Go home and rest. I'll work on this tonight and have everything ready by 7 a.m. We'll go to your office together if you want. I hugged her. Thank you. I don't know what I would have done without you. You would have figured it out, she said. But I'm glad you called. Now go. I've got work to do. I drove home as the sun was setting, feeling hope for the first time. My phone rang. Mom's name. This time, I answered. Finally, Mom said, her voice sharp. Maya, you need to come back and apologize to your brother. He's very upset. You accused him of serious things and embarrassed him. Mom, he admitted he sent the photos. He called it a prank. And he apologized. What more do you want? You're going to ruin his life over a mistake. Think about what you're doing to this family. I pulled over. What about what he did to me? What about my job, my reputation, my career he tried to destroy? You'll be fine, Maya. You always are. But Derek is fragile. He's struggling. Can't you just let this go? For the family? There it was. Derek's feelings mattered more than mine. His struggles were real, while mine were just drama. His future was worth protecting while mine was expendable. No, Mom, I can't let this go. If you go through with this, if you get lawyers involved and hurt your brother, you're not welcome in this house anymore. You'll be choosing to tear this family apart. My voice came out steady. I'm not tearing anything apart. Derek did that when he tried to ruin my life. And you did that when you chose to protect him instead of believing me. I hung up. Then I blocked her number, blocked Derek's number, and sat in my car, watching the sky turn dark. 20 hours left. I had evidence, an expert witness, and proof that would clear my name. What I didn't have anymore was a family. But maybe some families weren't worth keeping. I woke up at 5 a.m. after barely sleeping. My phone had 17 missed calls from a number I didn't recognize. Probably Mom calling from someone else's phone. I deleted the voicemails without listening and got dressed in my most professional suit. Rachel texted at 6:30. Report is done. Meet me at Starbucks near your office at 7:15. You're going to be fine. I got there early and ordered coffee I couldn't drink. Rachel arrived exactly on time, carrying a leather portfolio and a flash drive. I have everything. The forensic analysis, the IP trace, timestamps, the harassment pattern, his texts. This is airtight, Maya. Your company will have to reinstate you. We walked into my office building at 8 a.m. sharp. Jennifer and Diane from HR were already in the conference room, along with Tom Chen from legal. My stomach dropped seeing legal there, but Rachel squeezed my arm reassuringly. Ms. Chen, Jennifer said formally, you said you had evidence. Please proceed. I plugged in the flash drive. This is Rachel Kim, a digital forensics expert. She analyzed the photos sent to you. Rachel walked them through everything with calm confidence. She showed the manipulation markers in the images, the metadata proving they'd been edited, the IP trace to my mother's house, Derek's computer activity timeline. She explained how the photos had been created using free software and images from my public social media. Then I showed Derek's text sent 2 hours after my leave began. Before I'd told anyone, I showed the pattern of prior incidents, the email compromise, the vandalism, the break-in. I showed his resentful texts about my success. My brother Derek has been systematically sabotaging my career for 2 years, I said. This was planned, deliberate harassment by someone with access to my personal information and a clear motive. Jennifer looked at Tom. Tom looked at the evidence. Diane was making notes with a serious expression. Ms. Kim, Tom said, you're willing to testify to this analysis if needed. Absolutely, Rachel said. I stand behind every conclusion in that report. Long silence. Then Jennifer looked at me directly for the first time since this started. Maya, I owe you an apology. This evidence is compelling. You're reinstated effective immediately with full back pay. We'll also be issuing a formal apology, and this will be expunged from your record. The relief hit me so hard I almost started crying. Thank you. However, Tom said, your brother committed a serious crime targeting our company. We have grounds to pursue legal action. What are your intentions? I'm filing a police report today. I'm also pursuing a restraining order. What you do as a company is your decision, but I want him held accountable. Jennifer nodded. We'll be filing our own complaint. Welcome back, Maya. The Morrison campaign needs you. Can you be ready for the client meeting at 2? I'll be ready, I said. Rachel and I went straight to the police station. The officer who took my statement was Detective Morris, a woman in her 40s who listened with an increasingly serious expression. I handed her copies of all Rachel's evidence. This is clear-cut, Detective Morris said. Computer fraud, identity theft, criminal defamation, harassment. Based on what you've shown me, we'll be issuing a warrant for your brother's arrest within 24 hours. You should file for a restraining order at the courthouse today. Do you feel safe? Yes, he doesn't have my current address. That was mostly true. I'd moved 6 months ago and never gave Mom the exact apartment number. I made a mental note to change my locks anyway. Good. We'll be in touch. Walking out felt surreal. Less than 24 hours ago, I thought my life was over. Now I had my job back and Derek was about to be arrested. My phone rang. Unknown number. Against my better judgment, I answered. Maya, it's Aunt Linda, Mom's sister. Your mother called me crying. She told me what you're doing to Derek. How could you? He's your brother. Aunt Linda, did Mom tell you what Derek actually did? She said he played a harmless prank and you overreacted. She said you're trying to send him to jail over nothing. He sent fake pornographic images of me to my workplace trying to get me fired. That's not a prank. That's a crime. And it's not the first time he's sabotaged me. Silence. She said it was just edited photos and you were being dramatic. Maya, are you serious? Pornographic images? Yes, I'm done protecting him, and I'm done letting Mom protect him. More silence. I didn't know. Your mother made it sound completely different. Maya, I'm sorry. You're doing the right thing. I'll talk to your mother. I texted Aunt Linda the details after we hung up, knowing she'd probably tell Mom, and Mom would definitely tell Derek. Let him know what was coming. An hour later, a text from an unknown number. You stupid bitch! You think you're so smart. You're going to regret this. My hands started shaking. I screenshot it and sent it immediately to Detective Morris with a note. Just received this. threatening message. I believe it's from my brother using a different phone. She called back within 5 minutes. We're escalating this to emergency restraining order status. Can you come back to the station right now? I'm on my way. But when I got to my car in the station parking lot, something felt wrong. The driver's side had a long, fresh scratch down the paint, and tucked under my windshield wiper was a printed photo, one of the fake images Derek had, created with the word whore written across it in red marker. I took pictures of everything. My hands weren't shaking anymore. I wasn't scared. I was furious. Derek had just left physical evidence of continued harassment after I'd already filed a police report. I called Detective Morris from my car. He was just here. He vandalized my car and left a threatening note. Don't touch anything. I'm sending officers now. Within 10 minutes, there were 2 squad cars and officers photographing everything. Detective Morris came out personally and looked at it with grim satisfaction. Your brother just handed us additional charges: stalking, property destruction, continued harassment. The emergency restraining order is approved, and we're picking him up tonight instead of tomorrow. Do you have somewhere safe to stay? I'll stay with Rachel. Good. We'll call you when he's in custody. I drove to Rachel's apartment and collapsed on her couch. She made tea and sat next to me without saying anything for a while. He's really losing it, she finally said. Yeah. I stared at my tea. Part of me feels bad, like maybe if I'd just let it go, none of this would have happened. Maya, no, he did this, all of it. You're just refusing to be his victim anymore. Rachel's voice was firm. He counted on you staying quiet like you always have. He didn't expect you to fight back. My phone buzzed at 9 p.m. Detective Morris. Your brother is in custody. He was arrested at your mother's house about an hour ago. He'll be arraigned tomorrow morning. The restraining order is active immediately. He can't contact you or come within 500 feet of you, your home or your workplace. Thank you, I whispered. That night at Rachel's place, I didn't have nightmares. I dreamed about walking into work tomorrow with my head held high, about the Morrison presentation, about building the life I deserved without anyone trying to tear it down. And for the first time in 2 days, I felt like maybe that was actually possible. I woke up in Rachel's guest room to sunlight streaming through the windows and the smell of coffee brewing. For the first time in 3 days, I'd slept through the night. My phone showed a text from Detective Morris. Arraignment is at 10 a.m. You don't have to be there, but you're welcome to attend. I wanted to see it through. Rachel and I drove to the courthouse together, a gray building with too many security checkpoints and fluorescent lighting. Detective Morris met us in the hallway. Your brother's lawyer is going to try for a plea deal, she said. The evidence is overwhelming. The DA is offering probation, mandatory counseling, community service, restitution for your legal fees, and the restraining order stays in effect for 5 years. He'll also have a misdemeanor record. What if he doesn't take it? I asked. Then we go to trial, and he's looking at actual jail time for multiple felonies. His lawyer knows that. He'll take the deal. The courtroom was smaller than I expected. Derek was already there with his public defender, wearing an orange jumpsuit that made him look younger and smaller. He didn't look at me when I walked in. Mom was sitting in the front row behind him, and when she saw me, her face went from grief to pure rage. She stood up and her voice echoed through the courtroom. How dare you show up here? Haven't you done enough to your own brother? The bailiff moved toward her. Mom, sit down or you'll be removed. This is your fault. Mom pointed at me with a shaking hand. You destroyed this family. The judge, a stern-looking woman in her 60s, banged her gavel. Ma'am, sit down immediately, or you will be held in contempt. This is your only warning. Mom sat down but kept glaring at me with hatred I'd never seen before. I forced myself to look away and focus on Derek. His lawyer was whispering to him urgently, showing him papers. Derek's shoulders were slumped and his hands were cuffed in front of him. The judge read the charges aloud. Computer fraud, identity theft, criminal defamation, harassment, stalking, destruction of property. Each word felt like vindication and grief at the same time. How does the defendant plead? The judge asked. Derek's lawyer stood. Your Honor, My client wishes to enter a plea of no contest and accept the plea agreement offered by the state. The judge looked at Derek directly. Mr. Chen, do you understand that by pleading no contest, you're accepting responsibility for these actions? Derek's voice was barely audible. Yes, Your Honor. The court accepts the plea. But, Chen, you are hereby sentenced to 3 years probation, 200 hours of community service, mandatory anger management and psychological counseling, and you are ordered to pay restitution to the victim in the amount of $8,000. A restraining order is in effect for 5 years prohibiting you from contacting or coming within 500 feet of the victim. Do you understand these terms? Yes, Your Honor, Derek whispered. You're very lucky, Mr. Chen. If you'd gone to trial, you'd be looking at significant prison time. I suggest you use this probation period to seriously examine why you felt entitled to destroy another person's livelihood. This court is adjourned. The gavel banged and it was over. Just like that. 3 days that had turned my world upside down, and it ended in less than 15 minutes. Mom rushed toward Derek as the bailiffs led him away. She was crying, reaching for him. Don't worry, baby. Mommy's here. This isn't your fault. I stood up to leave and Mom turned on me. Are you happy now? Are you proud of yourself? Your brother's life is ruined. I looked at her, really looked at her, and I felt nothing but emptiness where love used to be. No, Mom. Derek ruined his own life when he committed multiple crimes against me, and you helped him do it by teaching him that he'd never face consequences as long as you were there to protect him. Don't you dare blame me. I was trying to keep this family together while you were tearing it apart. There's nothing left to tear apart, I said quietly. You made your choice. You chose to protect him instead of believing me. That was your choice, not mine. Goodbye, Mom. I walked out with Rachel beside me. Mom's voice followed me down the hallway, still yelling about family loyalty, but her words faded as we pushed through the courthouse doors into bright morning sunlight. You okay? Rachel asked. I will be, I said, and I meant it. My phone buzzed, a text from Jennifer. Morrison presentation went great. Client signed for another year. When you're ready, we need to talk about that director position. Another text from Aunt Linda. Your mother called me screaming. I told her she should be ashamed for enabling Derek all these years. You did the right thing, Maya. If you need family, I'm here. I stood on the courthouse steps and let the sun warm my face. 3 months later, I was settling into my new role as Director of Client Relations. The Morrison campaign had been a massive success, and 2 other major clients had specifically requested to work with me. I'd even started dating someone I met through a friend, someone kind who thought my ambition was attractive, not threatening. Derek completed his community service without incident. I heard through Aunt Linda that he'd moved out of Mum's house and was working at a grocery store, actually showing up to his counseling sessions. Whether he'd actually changed, I didn't know and didn't care. The restraining order meant I didn't have to find out. Mom never apologized. She sent emails through Aunt Linda, long messages about how I'd destroyed the family. I deleted them without reading past the first few lines. Some bridges aren't worth rebuilding. I was having dinner with Rachel and friends when my phone rang with an unknown number. I almost didn't answer. Maya, my name is Jessica. I'm Derek's counselor. He asked me to call you. He wanted me to tell you that he knows what he did was wrong and he's working on understanding why. He's not asking for forgiveness or contact. He just wanted you to know that he takes full responsibility. That's all. I sat there holding the phone for a long moment. Thank you for telling me. I hope he does change, for his sake. I hung up and looked around the table at my friends, my chosen family. People who celebrated my successes instead of resenting them. People who believed me instead of telling me I was being dramatic. People who showed up when I needed them. Rachel raised her glass. To Maya, who refused to be anyone's victim and came out stronger. Everyone raised their glasses, and I felt something in my chest that I hadn't felt in years. Peace. The kind that comes from knowing you stood up for yourself, even when it cost you everything. The kind that comes from building a life on your own terms. To new beginnings, I said, and we all drank to that. My phone buzzed one last time. A text from Mom's number had somehow gotten through. You'll regret this someday. Family is forever. I looked at it for exactly 3 seconds. Then I deleted it, reinforced the block, and turned back to my friends. Mom was wrong. Family wasn't forever, but dignity was, self-respect was, and the life I'd built for myself, surrounded by people who actually loved me, that was worth everything. Some families are born, some families are chosen, and some families are better left behind. Please comment and let me know which city you're from and what time it is where you are. And please subscribe my channel to hear more bizarre stories from my life.